Welcome to Interpower Group of Companies webcast, How to Select and Specify Power Cords and Cordsets for International Markets. My name is Ralph Bright, and I am the Vice President of Marketing at Interpower Group of Companies. And our speaker today is the General Manager of Interpower Components Limited, Duncan Seaton. Interpower Corporation and Interpower Components Limited supply power system components for use on equipment that will be sold globally. Interpower is generally recognized as the expert on global power connection requirements, gaining and imparting a wide range of technical information during its 34 years of existence. And with that, I'll hand it off to Duncan Seaton. Duncan?
Thank you, Ralph. This webcast is going to look into the aspects of choosing power cords and cord sets for use in global markets. In a previous Interpower webcast, we discussed the importance of designing one product for sale worldwide in order to spread the cost of tooling and design across the biggest customer base as possible. And with today's truly global need for electronic equipment, manufacturers know that in order to prosper, and in some cases to survive, they must participate in highly competitive markets by exporting vigorously. That means being able to provide equipment that is adaptable to the needs of the consumer without any reconstruction on their part. Therefore, one of the main considerations that you have is to be sure that the end user has the correct means of connecting to their local main supply. In the following slides, we cover the main topics that should be considered when choosing power cords and cord sets for both domestic and international markets. The first choice concerns the plug pattern required for the country that you are exporting to. There are a number of plug patterns in use across the globe, both 3-pin Class 1 and 2-pin Class 2 configurations. There are obviously more countries in the world than plug patterns, and it may not be well known as to what is needed in some developing nations. The plug pattern for any country in the world can be seen in the designer's guide reference pages at www.interpower.com. This information has been taken from various test agency references across the world. While searching for the plug patterns for your export needs, you may find that some plug patterns look the same. That does not necessarily mean it is the right cord for your equipment, as there are major differences beyond the looks of the pin pattern. One way to ensure you have the correct part is to question the approvals on the power cord or cord set. An example is the North American and Japanese Class 1 plugs, which look identical. However, North American cords do not carry the Japanese symbol and therefore should not be exported for use in Japan. The same can be said for Japanese cords, which will not carry UL or UR approval. Other similarities in looks are seen in the Australian, Argentinian, and Chinese plug patterns. Once you are aware of what the plug pattern is for the country you are exporting to, consider the cable that is used. Electrical cable for North America may look the same as the European harmonized cable typically used in other countries, but it has a slightly different construction. Furthermore, countries like Japan and China have different cable types as well, and will need approval from test agencies in those countries. North American cable cannot be used for cord sets for countries where the harmonized cable standards are in place, and vice versa. So, removing the North American plug from a cord set made with North American cable and replacing it with a European Schuko plug will not make the cord acceptable for Europe. In order to choose the correct cord or cord set, you must know the amperage and voltage rating required for the equipment you are going to export. Higher or lower amperage can mean a different plug pattern, even in the same country. Amperage requirements will also affect the cable size you will need to specify. North America has a different voltage, amperage and frequency compared to much of the rest of the world. It is also essential to know the amperage, voltage and frequency of the main supply in the country you are exporting to. For information on the world's voltage and frequency requirements, consult the Interpower Guide to Worldwide Plug and Socket Patterns at www.interpower.com. I have mentioned previously power cord or cord set, as the choice is up to the manufacturer. A detachable cord set has a country-specific plug and an IEC connector joined by a length of cable. The IEC connector powers the equipment by mating with an IEC inlet in the equipment. Developing our idea of designing and building equipment for use anywhere in the world, the use of an inlet and the provision of a cord set allows the same equipment to go to a variety of countries. However, the equipment may be designed in a way that a continuous hardwired power cord is necessary. Power cords do not have an IEC connector, but instead the internal wires of the cord are hardwired into terminations within the equipment and usually supported with a cable gland or strain relief. The advantage of using a hardwired power cord is where there is a limited amount of panel space to place an inlet. The disadvantage is that once a power cord is connected to the equipment, it can only be exported to a country that accepts the country-specific plug at the other end. We spoke earlier about Class 1 and Class 2 classification. So what is the difference? Class 1 power cords and cord sets have a connection to earth or ground for reasons of safety. The left-hand image shows the Euro plug, a Class 2 plug that connects to all sockets that accept the Class 1 European Schuko plug, as well as other European 3-pin sockets, such as Italy, Switzerland, Denmark, and Israel. In the UK, where an earth pin is required to allow the shutters in the socket to open, this third pin is a non-connected dummy in Class 2 plugs. Class 2 plugs will always be assembled to 2-core cable, and if a moulded IEC connector is present, it will be a 2-pin female connection. The second and third images show the common Class 1 NEMA 515 and Class 2 NEMA 115 plug types used in North America. Though the 115 has no earth or ground pin, it is polarized, meaning it can only be pushed into the socket in the correct way due to the sizing of the two blades. Interpower does offer standard length power cords and cord sets from stock, but cable length is a choice for the manufacturer depending upon the application. A monitor on a desk placed against a wall would have a shorter than standard length cord. However, there will be some circumstances where the mobility of the product comes into play, and you need to make sure that you have enough cord to keep power to the mobile equipment. However, there are application limits that need to be considered. For example, cords over 50 feet in length in the United States and in Canada will have the amperage rating D-rated. For international applications, D-rating of a longer than normal cord set or power cord depends upon the application and the cable used in the assembly. We have now discussed the main points of consideration when choosing the correct power cord or cord set for your equipment. One last point concerns whether the equipment being exported is classed as patient connected and therefore needs to meet medical or hospital grade standards. As of right now, there are 4 regions of the world that require or recommend hospital grade cords when supplied with patient care equipment. These are North America, Denmark, Australia, and Japan. All other parts of the world can use standard cords, even in a hospital environment. Preparing and submitting products for testing by international product safety agencies is complex and time-consuming. It is, however, an essential part of any successful business venture. Proper organisation and preparation can make compliance attainable within realistic cost and time parameters. So, when choosing a power cord or cord set for your equipment, ensure that the manufacturer can provide you with the necessary Product Safety Agency approval document.
Thanks, Duncan. Interpower can discuss power cords and cord set needs with its customers through available trained customer service staff. With our own manufacturing locations in Iowa, USA, for the majority of the world's plug-in connector patterns, we have the ability to produce cords to our customers' exact needs. We can offer a choice in length of cable and angle of connector, as well as customer-specific labeling and packaging. Importantly, in these days of holding limited inventory yet providing quick supply to customers, Interpower offers a 1-week manufacturing lead time and no minimum order requirements for any Interpower-made cord. That includes customer specifics. If a customer wishes to see one of our power cords or cord sets for evaluation purposes, a sample can be sent free of charge. You can find more reference information on our website along with a complete listing of all of our products. We have over 4 million parts in stock for same-day shipments, orders received by 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our business hours in the United States are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and our office hours in the UK are from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. GMT.